There's no fadeaway really there.
Holy cow. Watching my air drums over here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Colonize the Ocean live stream, or the Atlantic Sea Colony live stream. I don't know what we're dubbing it. It's it's our live stream.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, so thank you guys for joining us today. Brendan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm fine.
Just dandy?
Super great.
That intro, that countdown video, like, you made that. Like, where'd you pull up that music from? It's kind of catchy.
I don't know if it's one. I got like a whole entire like catalog of like stuff. I found it off some other YouTuber, and it has like a free download of a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I don't remember. I'll find it if you like it. I will share it to you.
It's just fun to dance to while we wait for the show to start.
We're just
sitting here jamming and doing our thing. So, Brendan, what's new in the world of Atlantic Sea Colony? What's new in the world of underwater technology and stuff? Like, what's sparking your interest this week?
Well, this week, honestly, it's been kind of a slow week. The only thing that really has stood out, there's a couple things that stood out to me. One we'll talk about a little bit later, but Michael Lombardi, who's he's a decent name here in the underwater stuff. He was in a ocean news and technology website, and they're talking about, he had posted something about the future of diving technology. And so we had shared it earlier in the week too, and here I will post it there in chat as well, the link to it. But it's basically just talking, it's a really quick little read, but basically it follows up with, his views on, how, scuba diving and living underwater is all technology driven, and talking about that, and then how that technology can also be turned into saving lives with the whole COVID thing going on right now.
Right.
And so that's basically a whole premise of that. So that's really that, and some other stuff is really all that's really been tickling my fancy this week.
It's you kind of mentioned a little bit ago the whole some of that technology is being used and like health benefits and stuff, which it's kind of cool because one of the things that we were kind of seeing early on during the pandemic was it seemed like a lot of the scuba community and the scuba technology, diving tech, like they were some of the first ones to jump on board with being able to alter some of their stuff to be able to, like send to hospitals and clinics and stuff. So, it was kind of cool to see that because, it is kind of a niche community. It's kind of a niche interest of, paying attention to. But, seeing, like I said, a lot of these like diving manufacturers or like scuba manufacturers be able to kind of jump in and, like I said, alter their products already and, was used in hospitals and stuff. Well,
when your whole entire technology base is built around supplying oxygen to the person,
right?
Whether in either a repairing situation with like hyperbaric chambers and stuff along those lines, or just standard scuba, it's not a huge leap. And once again, there's who knows how much multiple different manufacturers and stuff out there too. So it's a easy, and like we've seen even with the snorkel masks, those full masks with the a filter, people were making filters that adapt to those too for just walking around with too. So
the more and more I think about those, I want to just wear one to work because do they fog up as easy?
No, because there's nothing really there. It's all face mask. There's a little part over your nose.
Right.
I've never worn them around outside either, but they don't fog up underwater because all the airflow is coming up and out. So there's nothing to really fog up.
Gotcha. I should get one. I should just get one and wear it to work and see if anybody says anything about it.
You should.
So I'm just trying to be safe. But it's cool to see what you're talking about with Lombardi's article there. And we're kind of seeing more of that where we kind of talk about it a lot with our just basically everything we talk about always plays hand into something else. So in this case, it's just diving tech is being used to help in the, I guess, health benefits or however you want to say it. Like you said, saving lives. And, a lot of the diving tech and underwater tech is used to do research for space research, and so everything like kind of plays hand in other fields and kind of just kind of grows out from there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, yeah. Whether it's it's everything is. It's like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. Like you're only 7 people away from knowing.
People away, yeah.
It's basically the same thing with everything else. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And what was I?
Are you in jail right now? By the way, I mean
no. So what I did is I moved all my stuff back down to my basement because a lot of times when I record, I'm up in my kitchen, as everybody probably knows, because they can see my kitchen in the background. And usually, like around this time, my kids are still up, and I always make them go into their room and trying to kennel them up, really. So I just said, I'm just gonna go to the basement. You guys can have free range of the house. But yeah, it's my basement. It's my cinder block walling right there. It's a beautiful yellow color.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll eventually get a backdrop so it's not so out there.
Some of the other stuff we're going to talk about is, we alluded to have more of a format for these live episodes, and I think more and more thinking on that. It's each one will have have a theme. So like next Tuesday, which is going to be the 22nd, I believe it is.
Yep.
I think we're going to try to focus on talking about different power. We did this with the podcast, but I'm curious to see how we'll do in a live format with people able to ask questions and get involved. And stuff as well. So I think we're gonna focus on different powers. You had posted something this week about solar. The Setting Institute. Well, it was the Ocean Builders, I think it was, had posted about some. I don't even remember what the term is, but some different power situations. Which I read the article and it was pretty interesting stuff. So we'll talk about that too.
Yep.
And just different stuff and how that correlates to living on and under the ocean.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought that up because, and I mentioned it to you before this the other night. So, preface to this story, I like to play World of Warcraft in the evenings, and one of the guys that I play World of Warcraft and he mentioned that he's like he teaches and he's teaching a class on I think it's like hydropower or something like that. Just randomly brought it up in our, while we were playing the game. And so I sent him the info about Atlantis Sea Colony. So I actually want to pick his mind a little bit more because, he is currently teaching like a college class on, hydropower and all that. So just kind of a weird coincidence that I'd run into someone that has a little bit of knowledge in that because we talk a lot about, obviously, and we'll get into it next week, but the different forms that we could try to utilize for, our underwater habitats, and then kind of like we always kind of pay attention to what the seasteaders are doing too. So how are they powering stuff? So a lot of cool different things that we could do with that, and it'll be good episode.
And speaking of the seasteading too, I was in on one of their seasteading socials, which they do once a month. It's a Zoom conference type of thing. And this month, December, they were talking about algae. One of the things I was like, how exciting can that be? But it's pretty fascinating, especially talking about how as a protein, the one guy was talking about how that's pretty much all he ate for like 2 months was just algae. And I was like, I don't know about all that, but it's just the level of protein it has and how quick it grows and stuff along those lines. And so it's in one of the foods to try out there, I guess, in our long list of different stuff. But with me, I think it's going to be a consistency issue, and I don't know if I'll be able to do the consistency of it alone. But it's still an interesting thing with how fast it grows. All you need is salt, water, power for the lighting or natural light, whichever, and then the algae, and it just replicates itself, and it's
well, didn't you say he said it was tasteless? Like it didn't really even have a taste to it?
Right. It's only when it starts to like dry out and age and stuff like that does it start getting age, but taste to it. Otherwise, it's just tasteless. But once again, it doesn't matter if it has taste or not. It's a consistency thing with me.
I just think it's got to be slimy and.
Well, let's
Ugh.
find out.
Nah, I'm good.
It's their website. They actually sell starter kits where you can, like, I think it wasn't that bad. I think it was like $70. They send you a syringe with the algae and the pumps and all that kind of stuff where you get your own little kit up and going.
Hard pass. We'll let you do that.
Yeah, we'll see.
You do algae and like I'll try some seaweed again.
Yeah.
Because those are things that we see a lot of articles about when we do our, I guess. Always comes back to seaweed. Yeah, we need to get off the food all the. It seems like it's been a consistent thing, but
did you, Tyler? Did you just hear what we were talking about the algae? And are you down to trying some algae? Is the question.
Yeah, algae and seaweed. They're like that's the biggest things right now when it comes to like a renewable food type deal. So
anyway, so yeah, there's not much. Food it's one of those things where yes, it'd be ideal to be able to manufacture and grow your own food and stuff underwater. All right, let us know.
We'll bring them on so we can live stream it.
Yeah, that'll be a great one. Well, you're braver than I am.
To each their own.
But yeah, with food, it's one of those things where you can always have. Obviously, you look at Hawaii; everything has to be shipped to it. So food is one of those things where you can always have it shipped to you for the most part. Ideally, cut costs down, stuff like that, and you want to do it yourself. But right, food isn't a big concern of mine as much as things like power and other things like that are.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the seaweed and algae thing always kind of comes back to a lot of things we've read and talked about is all about like how it can help out other industries. Like what was one of them? They think they can cut down the methane in cattle by feeding them like seaweed or something.
And they talked about that in the thing too. But the big thing they're doing from that is pigments like dyes. So they're taking from seaweed they're able to extract dyes like different colored dyes like blues and yellows and stuff along those lines. That right now, I think it comes from like an oil-based compound, so therefore it requires petroleum. But this is able to come from an all natural, and that's where really their focus, where the money maker is for them is pulling the pigment from it and making dyes, which then can be used in whatever. So that's really where the money from the algae thing comes. The byproduct of being protein rich and able to be put in different stuff like that is just a secondary pretty much.
Algae.
But yeah, so once again, food, yeah, we're talking about food, but what?
Is it no, it's just like let's just like have a food episode where we're just like we'll eat food and we'll talk about food and just
we can crossbreed with my Let's Eat YouTube channel where all I do is eat cereal and
that's a weird plug that you're trying to put right now
on a 3-year-old YouTube channel I haven't touched in like 30 years. But anyway, yeah, go check out my YouTube channel, man. Where I eat cereal. No, don't. It's stupid. But no, you said you got anything else to add to that whole topic there?
No, I'm gonna move on from it because I'll just keep talking about food and stuff, and I'm just
no, it's fine. I was gonna go. So, what you got? Something else you want to talk
about? There was one article I was trying to search for while I was talking with you on that, and I just haven't found it yet because I didn't save it. It wasn't one of the ones that was one that we posted. It was one that I was gonna post, and now I can't find it at this exact moment. One thing, so we've kind of talked a lot about it, like on our podcast.
I'll eat it. Yeah, if you can find some kelp algae cereal, I will eat it.
Someone's got to make some.
Yeah, tell me where it is. I'll buy it and I'll eat it.
Anyways, as I was saying, one of the things that we kind of stray away from, and not in a, I guess, nefarious way, or trying to, I don't know how I'm trying to explain it, but like a lot of the articles that I don't post because I don't want to beat a dead horse and I don't want to send the wrong message. But a lot of the things that we get asked a lot about is the whole how it impacts the environment. And a lot of the things that we constantly see in the news is like when I'm looking for ocean related articles and stuff, it's always talking about plastic pollution here, plastic pollution with that. And, it's one of those things where I don't want us to be like a hub of, what's the proper way to say it? We're not against conservation. We're not against like ruining things, but like, we don't want to be the hub for that information, and not intentionally. Is anything like that making sense what I'm trying to say? Like I want to be able to talk about it, but I don't want that to be our focus, because I don't want people thinking we're that our focus is to clean up the ocean. Not that we're trying to ruin anything, but our focus is to like put a.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, once again, I think I alluded to it once too. Is that Atlantic Sea Colony, our focus is the development, the design, and the construction of underwater habitats. Not everybody can do everything. In that, we are going to keep it clean as possible, and we're not trying to destroy the environment or do anything like that. But at the same time, our purpose is not to save the ocean, but it's also not to add any damage to it at the same time. I fervently believe, and I've seen it written by other people in this space, that the more we open up the ocean, whether it's via scuba diving or whatever, but the problem with scuba diving is there is a barrier to entry for it, with you having to know how to scuba dive, and not everybody can pass that barrier. So my passion with the Atlantic Sea Colony is being able to bring anybody who wants to explore the underwater world, be able to it, whether it's your grandmother, whether you've got some kind of handicapped, whether
I did find some, by the way.
That's not real.
I was looking it up as you were talking. Sorry.
Anyway, so no matter what you've got, that you can visit and see the beauty of what the ocean is. Nothing will ever compare to actually scuba diving and that utter peace of feeling the ocean wrap around you and just being there alone underwater per se. But I think that if you're able to stand there and have a piece of glass, a plexiglass or whatever between you and that serene, peaceful environment, I mean, there's nothing compared to that. And I think that anybody that's ever scuba dived, been on a submarine or anything like that, can attest to that. And that's kind of where war focus is. And through that, hopefully that spurs on. I just stay under open water, is all I've got right now. I'd love to get some more stuff, but yeah, I haven't done much with it, honestly. But yeah, hopefully that spurs other people on to, taking that and championing it, and maybe from people visiting Atlantic Sea Colony, you have the next person that finds some way of cleaning the ocean and stuff along those lines. So, and more power to them. And hopefully we get to a place as a business where we can help fund. I'm SSI actually. That was all that was available in the area. Well, I guess it wasn't all available. Maybe it was. I got certified actually in Jackson, Mississippi, 20 years ago, and it was just SSI here. So I thought about getting a PADI as well, but it is what it is for now. If I ever needed a reason, I will. Anyway, to finish what I was saying, you see where I'm going with the whole thing.
Yes. Well, and two, I think a lot of people need to realize, I'll backtrack again, is that I would love to make sure that whatever we're doing, because I've stated from the beginning that when we get this rolling, that, I want to be a part of the manufacturing process. I want to be a part of the building it, and I think we're in agreement that we want to try to make it as, I don't want to use the term green, but I mean, like, we want renewable energy, obviously, because you almost need it. You almost have to have renewable energy, whether it's solar, wind, whatever. And just like the way you build it, something that's not toxic to the environment, something that's not invasive. But to go further with that whole conversation is that because like I said, we get that comment a lot is like, oh, you guys are putting more stuff in the ocean, and that can't be helpful to the environment. Well, it's just like the problem isn't like people putting stuff in the ocean. It's the stuff that they're not taking care of on land that's ending up in the ocean. So it's like a lot of that conservation effort has to be taken care of like at home, really, whether it's just, simple recycling or whatever it is that you got to do, and, trying to do your little parts to stop the amount of plastic that is. Plus, there's a lot of, I think I did post an article about how there's like certain manufacturers of plastic now that are making a type that is biodegradable or something like so. Like if it ends up in the ocean, it just breaks apart, or it doesn't just float for years and years. So, it's just the beauty of the private market on trying to make something better without being forced to do it, I guess. But
right.
There's a lot of cool like foundations and projects out there that I found like some really cool ways of like cleaning up the big plastic stuff or garbage piles, or what do you want to call them? I guess like these giant areas of just nothing but trash out in the ocean. So, I mean, our focus isn't to do that, but our focus is also not to interfere with that or to make things worse by any ways. And we, like you said, we'll be a hub for something too. I mean, if we create a facility that people can stay at while they're out there cleaning the thing up, whatever works. So, I mean, I wanted to address it because I feel like maybe it's just me overthinking it, but why we don't talk a lot about or like post a lot of articles about pollution and all that. And it's just because I don't want to be categorized into that, and I don't want to open up that can of worms that people would think that's what we're trying to do. So if that, like I said, if that makes sense.
Yep. Hey, Tyler, are you still there?
Yeah.
If you are, how long have you been certified and how many dives you got under your belt? And follow up to that, have you ever been down to Jules Undersea Lodge, and are you officially an aquanaut due to spending the night there? Multiple questions for you there, if you're still around. Because I was actually going to look at going down to Jules this coming year, 2021, but there wasn't anything on their website about to be able to say there. So I messaged them, and it looks like they're closed for all of 2021. I don't know what they're doing. So if anybody knows anything that's going on at Jules, I'll be curious. I've had a hard time getting a hold of them in the past. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer because I was going to go down there this year, so it looks like I'll have to wait till 2022 at this point in time. But yeah, still want to get down there, spend the night there. But yeah.
I wonder if there's a way you can, talk to anybody at Aquarius, and if you can get a tour of it. I know it's like for science or like research and stuff, but I wonder if like
so you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if there's a way that you could be like, hey, we're interested in this kind of thing. Is there a way like I could come down there and check it out? I am Brendan freaking Traxler. If you don't know my name now,
that's right.
You're gonna know it. I want to speak to your manager.
That's right.
You're the underwater Karen.
That's right. I'll hop on my cell phone and I'll be making some phone calls.
Like, stay right there.
That's also something from the community too. Is if anybody's got those connections, because lots of stuff we're not big enough. Well, I mean, we got a pretty decent follower. We got well over 2,000 people, and even as we've been doing this, so we've been getting some follows and stuff along those lines. I've actually got a couple of emails coming through on some different stuff too. So this has been a good night. But with that saying, you people have more connections than we may have, and may know people. And it's something I'm going to address a little bit more next year. Probably not this next week, but the week after that. I haven't even talked to you about this, but something I want to do. Yeah, AlenaCcolony.com.
Well, and after this, we were gonna do our yearly business review and kind of talk about our goals for 2021. So that might come up next week or in one of the few weeks coming up. Kind of
it will
sharing with people what we're planning on doing.
Oh, here you go.
I was diving with my dad when I was 12, but was officially certified around 15, so over a decade. Not as many dives as I would like. Haha, it's also been a while, unfortunately, but can't wait to get back in.
Yeah, I was, I grew up. I don't know if you follow our stories or not, but yeah, I didn't get certified until I was 22, something like that. 20, no, I was 20, yeah, 20, 22, something like that. Anyway, um, and then moved back to Illinois where I didn't really want to go diving in the Great Lakes or anything like that. So I really didn't get much. And so I moved back down here, then went and got my niece certified. So got some more dives in there. And I was hoping to do some more diving this next year, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, same thing. Not nearly as many as I'd like to. That's pretty cool. And I know that like the Georgia Aquarium and some other places like that. I guess you can pay to go dive in their giant aquarium there too, and so it's something looking at doing as well. Um, Obviously, you got to pay to do it, but it's still pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be cool diving in an aquarium.
Isn't there another one opening up or something like that? God, I thought I just read something. Someone's building another aquarium that you can go diving in, or because isn't Georgia like the biggest?
It used to be until I think the Philippines now has. I think it's the Philippines is the largest now.
But it's the biggest in America. Georgia's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where are you at, Tyler? What's the? I think you told us last time.
Where are you at? Give us your address and your social.
Yeah. Give me your street address.
We're gonna come pick you up. We're going diving. We're doing diving stuff. And I think because I live in South Dakota, and me and you were talking, like I've never been diving or anything. Like,
can you swim?
I can swim.
I'll give you crap.
Not very well, I guess, but I mean, oh, that adds a question. Meanings you guys are, experiencing this. Meaning, as I'm a fat guy, does being between Niagara Falls and Buffalo? Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Does being a fat guy make it harder or easier to go diving?
I don't know. Yeah, that's an awful lot of floatable substance there.
I need to know this stuff. Swimmer. Oh, it's my buddy Dave Rodden from work. Yeah, I could float super easy.
Yeah, listen, that's the whole thing with diving is your belt or now your vest. You have to be weighted according to your weight. So yeah, you'd have to.
So like you're saying, my suit would have to have some modifications if I wanted to go do it.
We'll just tie some bowling balls to your ankles.
Yeah, that's exactly how we do it. No, but we talked about like. So I live in East River, South Dakota, basically like about an hour away from the Minnesota border. And right on the other side of the state, you can actually go get there.
That's interesting.
But when I was younger, my legs would float more, so I needed ankle. Weird. But yeah, there's a place on the opposite side of the state that's like 6 or 7 hours away where I could go get certified. But how long did it take you? Like, because you had to go back multiple. It's not like just a one-day thing.
So no, so it used to be a whole lot long. When I first looked into it, like a long time ago, it was like a week-long process. And even now, between the time I went 20 years ago and my niece went, drastic change in the last 20 years. It's so much easier now than it was even 20 years ago. Because like before, I had like a week's worth of like paperwork and bookwork I had to do, and then I went one day at like the pool where you did all the pool training, and then you had to do your open water class where you had to go somewhere to actually do diving. But then with my niece, it was like one day of book work. No, it was a weekend of book work, and then one day at the pool, and then we went and did a day diving. So it was
like 4 days.
4 days.
Huh.
And we had to learn like all the tables and stuff like that. Like if you go down 20 feet and you stay there for 10 minutes, how long can you, when you come back up, how long before you have to go down? All these, and now it's just, they've simplified it and dumbed it down. I don't want to say dumbed it down, but they've learned over the years, and it's a much more simplified thing. And most of your dive computers anymore do it all for you, so you don't really have to know it too. So yeah, I was impressed at how much, because I gave her this whole horror treatment of how bad it's going to be and stuff along those lines from what I remembered. It wasn't bad at all.
You wanted to get her scuba certified, and you're trying to like scare her away.
I wanted to be aware of what I ran into. I was like, holy cow.
I'm not going to ask you how much you spent, but is it an expensive thing to get scuba? Is it reasonable?
I don't remember how much. I got a discount because I was getting recertified, but Well, I mean, factor in the trip and all that other kind of stuff. I mean, I would factor in about $1,000 for the whole class, renting the stuff, the hotel, all that kind of stuff. I think it's $1,000 you're safe.
Huh, okay, fair enough.
It depends on where you're at. I mean, it may be cheaper, maybe more, but yeah.
See, and I know years ago, I don't know if you still can, but the Mall of America over in Minnesota,
Mm.
they have a big aquarium in the basement. I don't know if you qualify it as a basement. Anyways, they're lower level. They have a giant aquarium, and now you used to be able to dive in that. I don't know if you still can, but
That's
I'm
not
wondering
that's not a pool if it's in the basement.
it's aquarium, whatever. But I don't know if you still can. And it's like one of those things. I'm wondering if it's like a touristy type thing, if you need to be certified, or if like they just kind of, I don't know, hook you up and tell you how to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's stuff like that. I really want to go over to Georgia and swim in there. I also know that you can do it. I think at Epcot Center. At the used to be the Living Seas. It's now like Nemo. I think they've even changed it since then. But
like a Disney World.
Yeah, it is a world.
Oh, okay.
I think you can there too as well. So yeah, stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool to dive on.
See, and we always talk about, my wife and I, we eventually want to like go on a vacation, like to like Mexico or something like that, somewhere like it has like a nice, beautiful beach and all that, like clean waters. Well, you know what I mean. Somewhere that's not South Dakota, and like, but like I know a lot of those like resorts and stuff like that have that option where you can like a place where you can go like kind of dive off the coast, and it would be kind of cool to be able to do that and not just like snorkeling, because that just doesn't seem as fun. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's just fine, but it'd be nice to be able to do an actual like dive. But I should probably get certified or learn how that works first.
Maybe.
So if you're not going to make it to Jules, what are you thinking then? You should go to the Georgia Aquarium.
Yeah, I mean, still Panama is on my hopeful list for next year. So we'll see about that. But
yeah, and for those of you that don't know, like down in Panama, they have the ocean builders where
I think you're going to say the ocean.
Yeah, they have the ocean. It's really cool. No, where Chad Albertowski and Chad and Nadia, they live down there, and they're building they have a shop that they're building, or that's already set up. Anyways, where they're starting to like work on building their like their seasteads and like.
Well, they got a freaking cruise ship now.
Yeah, they get, what is the MS Satoshi? Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's Satoshi.
We'll have to bring that up in one of the episodes too, because that's kind of a cool deal too, that they were able to buy a cruise ship that's off the coast of Panama there, and you can like basically like buy lodging there. You can either like own your own cabin there, or you can rent them, and it's kind of a cool thing, because it's like, really, when you think about it, it's like, is it just Chad and Nadia that bought it, or was it like a group that went in on it? Yeah, I can't remember how it worked, but it's not like this giant corporation that built it. So I mean, it's like it's a cruise liner that's owned by a small business, and they're just doing cool things. I mean, I told Brendan that me and him should go down there and just become bartenders there, like cocktails or something like that. But,
Drink.
Well, you can't drink if you're the bartender. You got to be sober to serve. If you were drunk trying to serve drinks, you wouldn't be a very good bartender. You'd be the Tom Cruise guy, and I'd be the fat guy. I don't know. I don't think he had a partner in that movie. It's been a long time.
Anyway,
I just wanted to bring up cocktails. Really, is all this like came down to.
Carry on.
So yeah. Anyways, but yeah. That's Brendan works nonstop, like between helping his family at the family business. He works for the church. He does freelance work. He works for his old job back. Like he has like a full-time job and 3 part-time jobs. Plus he does all this. So I keep telling him he needs to take a vacation. He needs to go somewhere. So Yeah, he was saying he was wanting to check out Jules, but they're closed for 2021. But he needs to do something ocean related. He needs to do something dive related or something.
If I take a break, this doesn't get done.
Yeah, well, it's all right. We'll pre-record something so you can go take a week. I'll just host it by myself.
There we go. But on that note, no, I've been thrilled that we've had so many people watching tonight too. It's been fluctuating in and out, and yeah. So I appreciate anybody that's been tuning in and watching, and anybody that watches this afterwards too. Awesome. Yeah, that's the whole person of doing this. I think on a weekly basis is to get some kind of routine in there, and I think it'll sort of get more and more people involved.
Well, that and being able to interact with people too. When
totally.
comment in the chat, then we can kind of talk with them because it's just I don't know.
And honestly, eventually, I'd like to be able to be like, hey, somebody's having a good interaction here. Like Tyler, for example, is like, hey, you want to hop on? We can just shoot you the link while we're doing the thing and hop in here. And yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool format and it's easy to do that with too. So I'd like to get some of the people that we had on our podcast in previous episodes to pop on. The differences between then and now is like when we did the podcast, we were able to like kind of be flexible to their schedules, where as like if we're going to keep doing this on Tuesday nights, it's like, hey, can you make it Tuesday night to be on our show? Yeah. But there's some cool people that I like to get back on.
Definitely. But anyway, you got anything else you want to throw in for tonight?
No, not that I can think of. I have, and I'll talk to you after this about, I have an idea to do a show that would just be more entertainment than like factual. I mean,
hello, my baby. I'm on my ragtime gal.
What the hell was that? Okay.
It's a dancing frog from like Looney Tunes.
Oh, okay. I'm like sitting here thinking you're just okay. Anyways, I have an idea that I want to bring up, and if you like it, then the next episode we'll talk about it for being a further episode. So, some cool stuff. So yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else to add to it. So yeah, before we close it out, I'll put this link up there if you're able to. This is our Patreon link, www.patreon.com/Atlantic Sea Colony. If you're able to donate, $1 to $5 a month, that helps us with increasing the funds to build the first Atlantic Sea Colony, I guess, habitat, really. We got the ideas. We got pretty much what we know what we need to do. It's just now we just need to get the funding behind it. Brendan's been looking for, I guess, an area around where he lives as a place to where we can start getting supplies and all that to start building. So that's kind of where we're at. But
Patreon isn't the only way. We also do PayPal if you want to do like one-time donations or whatever too.
I need to get that typed up so I can do that.
Yeah, I just threw it in the chat there too.
Yeah. Okay.
PayPal.
PayPal.me Atlantic Sea Colony.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard to say. We're going to first start off with just basically a proof of concept build. Honestly, it's just going to be really rudimentary. It easily would be under $100,000. I think that's a very, worst case scenario type of thing. The first one will based on what we find from that proof of concept. Even then, I would hope to $250,000 is my hopeful estimate on how much it'll cost. But I think a lot of it's going to boil down to where it's located, whether it's United States or whether it's somewhere else, because that's going to drastically change the price due to regulations and stuff along those lines. So I think it's going to be hard to say, but the first one, the proof of concept is really going to say a lot.
Yeah, and like we said a bunch of times, with we're in such a weird, I guess, a crazy idea that um, it's hard to get people, bought in on wanting to invest in it because they haven't seen anything like it before. But it's hard to build a prototype, or it's hard to show them how it works without the funding. So it's one of that old saying about like you can't get experience if you don't have a job, but you can't get a job if you don't have experience. So it's in that same loop where we can't build a prototype without funding, and we can't get funding without a prototype. But so a lot of it's like we're trying to like build partnerships. We're trying to reach out to people. One of the things we've thought of is just dive shops in the United States where they have coastal property where they might be interested in helping out or be a location for these. A lot of the cleaner lakes in the United States, like say like a Lake Tahoe or I can't think of the other one. Anyways, like the really nice, beautiful lakes in the United States where it's like clear water and you can actually see stuff. So yeah, I think I'm with you that I think we could do it for under $100,000, and I think it's going to be building a lot of relationships and getting some help involved in that, really.
And even to that point, I've got a business plan wrote up, and I've got a bunch of different designs as well.
No, not Compesca.
For any potential investors, because I have been approached by investors in the past. So since then, I definitely have upped the business plan to be a little bit more something to look at versus what I had before too. So it's something to entertain as far as that standpoint too. If there's investors out there that are looking, we can talk.
Mm-hmm.
It is very early on, but it's a big ocean. Actually livable space. It makes up 99% of the Earth, whereas the ocean covers 74%, but you're looking at a three-dimensional model, so you got a lot of living space there that's untapped. And if even past the living, you look at the science, you look at energy. There's a lot of different data centers. You got a lot of different markets there that can definitely make use of the ocean and what an underwater habitat could do for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, it's funny that you said the whole data center thing, because I was talking to a buddy at work, and he knows a guy that actually he does like IT work on some computers that are actually like underwater, and they like do Bitcoin mining or something like that because of like having to keep systems cool and stuff. So I mean that's it's a whole business sect too, that even if you didn't want to like go live in one of these things underwater, being able to do data storage and Microsoft had one or has one that we have talked about.
They just pulled it out. Yep.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like the cooling, right? That's the big benefit.
That's one of the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of purposes for it. We just had an article.
We need to do a night just on that because that's big. Yeah. We definitely need. It'll probably be one of the first ones in January. I think we'll probably do just on data centers and underwater because it is a bit. I think it's personally coming from the IT field. It's something I know about and have experienced a whole lot more too. So I can see the value of having underwater data centers. So
just can't have them leak.
Probably not a good idea.
But yeah, so we're just coming up with all kinds of ideas for further episodes and live streams. But yeah, I was gonna say we did post about it earlier this week, and it was kind of involved in the whole seasteading realm, but those shipping container homes that they're like putting on those floating platforms like right off of like the coast. Mm-hmm. Where was that? It was.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
Yeah, they build these like little like shipping container housing units that they put on floating platforms, like just right off of the shore. Like still, like obviously, like, I think you can walk onto them or something. Like you don't have to take boats out or anything. But they said they use them for like student housing in that area because like it's such a highly populated city where they're doing this, that they were running out of room for like affordable housing for students. And that was one of the ideas they came up with. So I mean,
Copenhagen. Copenhagen.
Where's Copenhagen?
Over in Europe, is that Denmark or is that
Come on, Carmen San Diego. Where's Copenhagen?
Denmark. I thought so.
Sweden?
Denmark.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Denmark.
I've said like 3 times now.
I said I wanted fish. I said it 3 times. Sorry. But yeah, I keep saying that. But yeah. But I think that wraps it up for.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
We'll be back on next Tuesday, guys.
Tuesday.
We'll try to have we're working on getting guests and stuff like that on here, and just being able to have some more information, more more interaction, answer some questions about what we're doing. So yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Brendan, anything else?
Nope. Thank you, guys.
One more time, go to AtlantaSeaColony.com. That's where you can find all of our socials, all of our links to all of our, different social medias, the YouTubes, the whatever, Patreon.com or the PayPal. So check it out, help us out, and just stay in touch with us. And we will see you next Tuesday. See you later, guys.
Bye.